Screech by Taran NCT on AO3. Episode 27, Chapter 28. Shouta watched as the students crawled out of the forest, his son all but carrying his boyfriend on his back. According to Ragdoll, Todoroki had been the group's heavy hitter for the entire journey and had tired himself out. Shouta narrowed his eyes at his class. He knew Hitoshi wouldn't have taken advantage of Todoroki's power, but the others? A few of the other students didn't seem to be too tired, while others were exhausted. Shouta would be going a little bit easier on the exhausted students tomorrow, while the ones who didn't seem too worn out would be getting the full Hell Camp treatment. Hitoshi nearly collapsed under the weight of Todoroki as they all lined up in front of Shouta, and he could see that Hitoshi's capture scarf was covered in dirt from Pixie Bob's creations. Good. Shouta was glaring at the 5 students, who had decided that they could take it easy and coast by while others did all the work. Mayday and Ragdoll got the kids settled at the tables for dinner. Tiger leaned over to Shouta, and in a quiet voice asked, "What's their names?" Shouta grinned his manic grin. Tiger clearly saw the same thing in the students that Shouta had. Hagakure, Sato, Uraraka, Ayamama, and Ojuri. I really hope they put a lot of thought into their exercise, since that will likely be on their exemption paperwork if they don't shape up during the camp. Tiger laughed and walked off. About an hour after the students had all gone to bed, Shouta heard a knock at the door to his room. He got up to check, grabbing a scarf on the way since no one should be coming to visit him at this hour, only to find 3 worried teens at the door: Hitoshi, Todoroki, and Kaminari. "Have you heard about Izu?" Kaminari asked as soon as the door was opened. Shouta nodded and pulled out his phone to show the 3 boys the message, one from Keigo and one from Hizashi. The one from Hizashi said that Izuku had been quiet after his 2-hour session with Iumu, but had managed to ask for Katsudan for dinner. He was slowly starting to come back to himself. The message from Keigo stated that Izuku wouldn't make his weekly promise to Keigo, not yet sure he'll be able to keep it, and refusing to break the promise. Kaminari had to wipe away a tear at that, while both Todoroki and Hitoshi wrapped an arm around him. "Hey, I told you already, Izu's gonna be okay. He doesn't have a choice," Hitoshi murmured. Kaminari nodded. "Yeah, I know. Gotta stay positive." "You 3 should go to sleep, especially you, Todoroki. Don't try to pretend you didn't get quirk exhaustion earlier," Shouta lightly scolded, trying to lighten the mood from Kaminari. Accepting the change of subject, Todoroki narrowed his eyes and glared at no one. "If I wasn't doing the work of 6 people, I would have been fine. I still think you should have let Sato get a few hits in." "If I wasn't doing the work of 6 people, I would have been fine. I still think you should have let Sato get hit a few times," Hitoshi said. "We all told him not to eat sugar, but he didn't listen." Kaminari scoffed. "What's Ojiro's excuse? His tail got busted? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just here, Quirk, totally useless against dirt monsters, swinging a staff I managed to talk Momo into making for me, while I simultaneously worried about my boyfriend. But go on, wax poetic about a bruised tail." Todoroki snorted at them both before yawning. "Go to bed, all of you." Morning rolled around, and Shouta was still exhausted, but luckily, Dad had given a few of them a few hours to relax in the morning. Ashiro, Tokoyami, and Momo had gone at the forest challenge every bit as hard as Denki, Shoto, and Hitoshi had, so Dad decided that they could take it easy into lunch. Some of the other students accused him of favoritism, up until he pointed out that Shoto still had quirk exhaustion from carrying them through the forest. Hitoshi sat in the grass while Shoto slept against him to watch some of the others in training. When the kid that was introduced as Mayday's nephew, Koda, who was darting around grumbling about how his aunt's making him bring water to all the hero wannabes, came up to them and all but threw the bottles at them. "You know, it doesn't cost anything to be nice," Hitoshi murmured at him before he could dart off. The kid glared at him and snapped back. "How much does it cost to be an asshole?" Hitoshi raised an eyebrow at the kid, thoroughly impressed at his snarky comeback. It's free, isn't it? Hitoshi snickered at him. You know what? Yeah, it's free. But you still might want to be a little nicer to people. The kid scoffed. I don't need to take any advice from some hero wannabe like you. That's fine. Hitoshi shrugged. It's just a lesson I learned the hard way. Hitoshi turned his attention back to watching his dad spar with both Ojiro and Sato at the same time, and snorted when he grabbed Ojiro's tail and threw his body at Sato. The kid still hadn't left, so Hitoshi tilted his head a little. You need something, kid? No, he said instantly. Hitoshi shrugged and lightly ran his fingers through Shouto's hair and waited for the kid to either say what he wanted or to leave. Everyone else is showing off their quirks. Why aren't you? He finally asked, gesturing to both Hitoshi and Shouta. Shouta gave himself quirk exhaustion yesterday. Those 5 others over there. Hitoshi waved his hand slightly in the direction of the students that were working the hardest out of all of them. Shouto's purposely sleeping, where they can see him, to elevate their guilt and letting him do more work than they should have. But that's stupid. Why even bother? You're just stupid people doing stupid things with your stupid quirks. Kuda crossed his arms stubbornly. You're right. Hitoshi nodded. And that's how I used to see it. I used to be bitter about people who had amazing quirks, better quirks than me. But after I was adopted, my new parents helped me see things differently. He looked fondly at Shota's red and half-white hair on his lap. I never would have been able to see Sho for who he was as a person if I continued to just judge him on his quirk. So, now you all just going to use your quirks to show off and be stupid heroes? Hitoshi raised an eyebrow at the kid. Isn't your aunt a hero? I thought I heard Made introduce you as her nephew. The kid huffed and averted his eyes. I think I remember my dad talking about how she lost a family member a while back. I'm guessing your parents were also heroes? Koda scowled at him again. Water hose. And they got themselves killed showing off. They thought that was more important than coming home. Hitoshi nodded. I can see how you feel that way, so I'm not going to try to change your mind. Fact is, they didn't manage to come home. No matter what else they were actually thinking. No matter how many other people say they saved. It's one of the hardest things about being both a hero and a parent. There's always the risk that you won't make it home to your kid. Koda was quiet, but still scowling at Hitoshi. You say that as if you know it. He finally said. I do. I almost didn't get adopted because both my new parents are heroes. They were worried about what would happen to me if they didn't make it home from patrol. What happened to your old parents? Koda asked. Hitoshi shrugged. I don't remember. I was told from as far back as I could remember that I have a bad quirk, and I was abandoned to the system. Did my parents actually abandon me? Did they die? I don't know. But the system abused me pretty bad. My dad is the one who saved me. He took me home, not trusting anyone else to treat me like a person. He and my pops got really attached and decided to let me decide if I wanted to be adopted or not. Koda sat down next to Hitoshi and was glaring at his hands. But they still go out. They're still heroes. Hitoshi nodded. Yeah, I'm not the first kid my dad saved. And I wasn't the last either. Both my parents saved people, and I've seen some of the people they save. My brother, in fact, is the latest kid my dad saved. He's still being saved, actually. Hitoshi smiled warily at the kid. Izuku was supposed to be here for the camp, but something happened. Recovery isn't linear, and his mental health took a few steps back. But he's gonna be fine. He's got a huge support system now. The kid sat there quietly, seemingly to think over what Hitoshi had said. Izuku had been having daily sessions with Inuyasha for a few days now, and the sessions were a minimum of 2 hours each. The first few days were really hard, and Izuku had been sure he had been completely broken. He was sure that there was no coming back from that, and that after freezing up at the mall, he would never be able to continue in hero training. Well, to be honest, he didn't think he'd really live long enough to recover. Inuyasha had said something interesting today. Knowing that Hizashi was taking him to the radio station today, Inuyasha had suggested listening to sad songs. It felt a little counterproductive to Izuku, but Inuyasha said that there's a reason people like to listen to music that match their moods. There was a song that he had suggested to Izuku, a pre-Quirk song, Broken Hearts of Golden, by One OK Rock. Hizashi had heard of the song, so when they were at the station, he had pulled it up for Izuku to listen to. There were so many parts that just resonated with him, and he understood what Inuyasha had said after listening to it. Sometimes I just want to quit. Tell my life I'm done with it. When it feels too painful, sometimes I just want to say, I love myself, but not today. When it feels too painful. That's how we've been feeling for a long time, but it just got worse. Too painful. But that line, I love myself, but not today, it just hit different. Ever since he started living with Shouta and Hizashi, he's been shown love, care. He's got people who care about him now. He's got two amazing brothers in Keigo and Hitoshi. His new family is doing everything they can to show him that everything his mom said about him and to him was wrong. He was happy with his new family. And that scared him a little. What? Izuku was snapped out of his thoughts by Hisashi's piercing screech. He was on the phone, and Izuku focused his hearing on what was being said. That's what I said. The camp was attacked. A voice that sounded a lot like Vlad King said, Eraser's okay, but he's busy trying to keep Todoroki from going rogue and trying to go after the villains that attacked. Why would Todoroki be going after them? Did something happen to my baby? How's Hitoshi? Hizashi frantically asked. He was taken. Vlad admitted softly. We don't have any information on where he is, but we're working on it. Hizashi dropped his phone and looked at Izuku, both wearing matching looks of terror. Hitoshi came to slowly, but kept his eyes closed, pretending to still be unconscious. He heard a few different people talking in strained voices, but only one made his blood run cold. I didn't ask your opinion, magnet, bitch! Shit, that was the asshole who tried to kill Izuku. Look, Bakugou, I get it. You want to kill the bird kid, but kidnapping his friend? That's not something that Sane would approve of. Hitoshi didn't know who it was that said that, and didn't want to look up and give away the fact that he had already woken up. He heard someone stomping over to where the last voice had come from, assuming it was Bakugou. And then the voice screamed in pain, while Bakugou started laughing. This was too much for Hitoshi, and he lifted his head to see what was happening. Bakugou had grabbed a guy who was very obviously lizard mutation on the shoulders, and the man was disintegrating from where Bakugou had touched him. Hitoshi's eyes widened. That wasn't the quirk he had when he was in class with them. The disintegration continued to spread, and soon the man stopped screaming and fell over, dead. Does anyone else want to argue with my decision? Oh shit. Okay, I know I've been avoiding talking about what's happening in the fanfic because I have been trying to cheer you guys up with questions about your favorite abstract colors and your favorite flowers, but we're gonna talk about this. What the fuck? Okay, what the fuck? First of all, the Coda situation, that was handled perfectly. I love that. I was sitting in every time I see moments, like big moments in the fanfic that happens, where like it's like a canonical moment, and I know that it's gonna happen in my fanfic, I sit and think like, oh, how is the conversation gonna go? Let's see how this person does it, how this person handles it. I would handle it different because, again, Izuku's the one who talks to the kid, except, let's just say, it's gonna be an emotional one. Yeah, I'm gonna cry that chapter. I'm gonna cry writing it, I'm gonna cry recording it, I'm gonna cry re-listening to it, and I'm gonna cry watching you guys cry about it, because so I want to get a mug that says, my reader's tears. And that's for a reason. Okay, alright, I'm one of those writers. Anyways, but moving on to what's happening with Bakugou, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I kind of thought that, okay, yeah, Hitoshi's gonna get kidnapped and that's whatever. I am actually genuinely fearing for Hitoshi's life. Major character death is one of the tags. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared, okay? I'm scared. I am actually scared. Because major character death is a tag. So Hitoshi dying is in the possibility because it is a tag. Therefore, I am petrified. Because Bakugou isn't trying to recruit Hitoshi. Yes, he's using it as lore to bring Izuku in, right? But he could very well get bored and just kill off Hitoshi. And make Izuku think like Hitoshi is still alive. And then when Izuku arrives and this very well could end really badly, okay? And I'm scared. I'm petrified. Okay. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.